In this video, we'll learn VLSM addressing. I'll take you through the VLSM worksheet so you can see the process. Once you figure out how to do this, you'll be able to create your own shortcuts to do the process even quicker. For this example, we'll use this network. Notice that Site 1 has 30 hosts, Site 2 has 50 hosts, Site 3 has 10 hosts, and Site 4 has 100 hosts. The first thing we want to do is set up our problem. So from the VLSM worksheet, I've copied over the first portion that will list the LANs or WANs that we need, and I filled in the number of hosts for each one of the sites. And from the problem, the first subnet is listed there too, so I've also filled that in. Notice that the way I put the sites in here are the largest number of hosts is first, followed by the smallest number of hosts, and then the WAN, which only needs 2. I've also brought in my subnet table because we're going to be using that as we solve the problem. I'm going to highlight the second row, which is the expanded powers of 2. If you'll remember, this is the row that I used to determine the number of hosts per subnet. Next, we're going to match the number of hosts we need with that highlighted row. I'm going to start by looking at my 100 hosts. I'm going to go down and look at my table, and then I'm just going to circle the one highlighted in yellow that's going to give me 100 hosts, and that's going to be 128. From the table, I'm then going to fill in the CIDR number, which is /25, and then the increment, which is 128. Next comes Site 2 with 50 hosts, so I'm going to circle the column with 64 in it because that will accommodate that, and fill in the chart from the table. I'm going to continue this process, filling out the table as I'm working with my subnetting table until I have all of my sites and my WAN accommodated for. That's really all you need to do. For most questions that you encounter, you will have this chart to be enough. But sometimes they want to know broadcast addresses and address ranges. So let's just expand that a little bit. The first thing I'm going to do is copy over all the information from the top chart into the expanded chart on the bottom. Just like I do in regular subnetting, the first thing I do is the broadcast address. The broadcast address is always one less than the next subnet address, so I fill in the table accordingly. The next thing I do is work with the address range. The address range starts out with one more than the subnet, and so I fill that all down the table. And then the ending address range is always one less than the broadcast, so I fill in accordingly. So now you know how to do variable length subnet masking using that quick worksheet, and then also the short form or the expanded form. With having these two tables filled out, you should be able to use variable length subnetting in your network, and then also answer any type of certification question you might encounter. Now it's your turn. The best way to see if you've learned this is 1, teach it to someone else, or take another problem, maybe one from the workbook, and work it yourself. Feel free to pause this video at any time, rewind it, and certainly to ask any questions.